Hi guys, this is Mr. Kennedy, and today I'm going to help you walk through the ELA Lesson 2.18 Bears Wrap-Up. There's lots of really tough stuff on here, and I want you guys to do well, so let's take a look together. Right, the first problem you guys will get to here, it says the two deer ran through the woods. Now this one's a little tricky. I can't remember which words it says. I think it says deers and deerses. A group of deer is called deer. Okay, no S in the end. That's just called deer. So make sure you pick that as the right answer. The two deer ran through the woods. And then the second one, a group of mice, is just called mice. It's the same thing as you might call a single mouse, a mouse, and then a group of mice, mice. So make sure you pick mice. Some of you will have the first sentence for number one, and some of you will have the second one. So make sure you pick the right one there. And then the second one, we're looking for these words, the past tense version of these words. So last night I told my sister a story. Make sure you select that one. Or if you have this version of the question, you say, yesterday I sat in the chair. So you either have told or you have sat, okay? All right, so on to the next one. We're going to start looking at some of the stories we read. So this is from Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And be careful, it's Goat-elocks, so you know which one you're reading. And the question is, which word from the story shows that someone from outside is the narrator? If you remember, a narrator is somebody who's telling the story. So how can we tell if it's somebody inside the story or outside the story? Well, let's take a look here. It says, quickly, she jumped up and hoofed it for home. She jumped up. Well, if the narrator was somebody inside the story, they would probably say, quickly, I jumped up and hoofed it for home. So I would say she is a very good clue that somebody outside the story is telling that. And so the question was, how do we know somebody outside the story is telling it? I would say that the word she tells us that. Hoofed and sounds are both in the sentence, but they don't help us like that one does. Okay, and that should be the same for everybody. On to the next question. It says, what is the topic of the article Bears in Danger? And just as a reminder, you guys can pause this video as you need to go. If you're working on your quiz at the same time, maybe pause it, put in your answer, and then you can come back to the video. The topic of the article Bears in Danger. So I pulled it up here. This is in your Astounding Animals magazine. And this article here, it is about polar bears in the North Pole. It's not about giant pandas eating bamboo, but mostly it's about bears becoming extinct. And there's lots of clues about that right here. We've got that bears are in danger. This whole paragraph, it talks about bears that are going extinct, and it's got examples about how they survive here. This article, although the subject is polar bears, I would say the topic is more about how they become extinct. So that would be the best answer on that one. All right, text features we haven't gotten into much this year. We will. You probably remember some from first grade. So the text feature that tells more about what's in a photograph, and you guys have probably seen that before. If there's a picture inside your story, they'll have some words down here at the bottom that tell more information about that picture. We call that a caption, okay? Table of contents is a little different. That goes at the beginning of a story and tells you where to find different things you're looking for, the chapters. And then the glossary is usually at the very end of the book, and that tells you the meaning of different words that you might not know. But the words that go with a photograph, we call that a caption. Remember that because we'll need that in a few more questions. Okay, so this one's a little bit longer, so I'm going to help you read. What we're doing is we're trying to figure out how are sun bears and sloth bears alike, and that's a really important keyword. So how are they the same? And so we're going to read, we're going to see if they both live in forests. Do they both have a patch that looks like the sun? Do they both eat ants and termites? Let's take a look here. So sun bears, it says sun bears live in the forests of Southeast Asia. And I'm going to start reading sloth bears. Sloth bears live in the forests of India. So right now I have a pretty good feeling that that first one's probably right because they both do live in forests. Do they both have a patch that looks like the sun? Let's see here. Sun bears have a golden white patch of fur on their chests. Some people think it looks like the sun. That's interesting. For sloth bears, it says their favorite foods are ants and termites. They have yellow or white markings on their chest. It doesn't say anything about it looking like the sun, though, so we don't want to pick that for an answer. And that's how we read really carefully, make sure we get the right answer. They both eat ants and termites. Well, here on the sloth bear, it says that they eat ants and termites. But let's go back up to sun bears and see what it says. And as I look through here, it doesn't say anything about what they eat. So while that might be true, I want to use what the text tells me, and they do both live in forests. Okay. All right, we're halfway through. Now we're on to who is telling the story Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And this was inside your OLS lessons, the book Goldilocks and the Three Bears by Jan Brett. And so I just pulled the first page out of the book here so we could take a look at some clues. If somebody outside the story is telling the story, somebody inside the story, or Goldilocks herself. So let's look at the clues here. It says, once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. So what do you think? Does that sound like somebody in the story who's telling about what they're seeing? I walked along and I saw a house with bears. It doesn't quite sound like that, so I don't think that that's right. Okay. Or excuse me, I actually made a mistake there. I shouldn't have marked that. I meant to say that it can't be somebody inside the story, because that's probably going to say I did this, I did that. That's usually when the narrator is somebody inside the story. Now, Goldilocks herself, she's a character in the story, but again, she's not telling the story from that perspective. So we would say somebody outside the story is best. That was probably the hardest question on the test. And we'll get more into that. We talk about who's telling the story, the narrators and point of view and things like that. Okay, this one I told you to remember. We're looking at this text feature right here. And this isn't a very common text feature. Let's go through. I told you that a caption is the words that go with pictures. This kind of goes with that, but a caption is usually really short, like one sentence or a couple of words under the picture. And this is like a whole paragraph, so I don't think it's a caption. And if you remember, a glossary is what's at the beginning, or excuse me, the end of the book that tells you the meanings of words. And so I would call this thing here a sidebar. Okay. Anytime you see that in nonfiction text. Okay, and then this question here, the central message of Arnold and Louise, Lost and Found. So you may or may not have read this story. This was okay. So this story right here is Arnold and Louise, Lost and Found, and we want to take a look at this right here. Okay, this is the story, Arnold and Louise, Lost and Found. You may have tried reading it, and it may have been a little tough. Learning coaches, if you can tell that this story is going to be too frustrating for your reader, this is probably a second, maybe even a third grade reading level. And so if we already know your reader's a little bit behind, this could be too tough for them to practice reading on their own. So one good strategy would be you, the learning coach, could read it to them while they follow along with their eyes. That's one good idea. But if you have or haven't read the story, you might know the theme of this story here. The theme that we found is that the central message is that friends are more important than things. Okay? Friends are more important than things. I lost my drawing tools. I can't figure out how to get them back. Sorry, my recording keeps stopping, so I hope this is making sense. You have here, friends are more important than things. That should be the one that we're looking at. All right, and then we get to question number 10, almost done, 3 questions. There's 2 different versions of this, so I want you to be careful. One version says, my brother carefully crumpled the cake out of the hot oven. That doesn't make sense. He lifted the cake out of the hot oven. That kind of makes sense. He raised the cake out of the hot oven. I think lifted makes more sense in that situation. So that's what I would pick, lifted. And then you might have a different version that has other words. I didn't have the sentence there. All I had was the answer. So the answer would be tumbled for that one. Pick your right answer there. And then question number 11, what's different? Now that's really, really, really important. It says what's different about Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Okay. And so what's different about it is that Goldilocks is a young girl and Goldilocks is a goat. Okay, so that's what's different. The one below that is how they're the same. They both eat the porridge at the house. That's how they're the same, but it said, how are they different? Goldilocks is a girl, Goldilocks is a goat, and that was another one of our picture books. Okay, short O words. This is our last one here, and so we want to take a look at each one. So we're short O words we have here. It looks like words I'm looking for. We got nod and off from that first list. And if you have the second list, hop or rock. Okay, those are your short O words. Now long O words, let's listen for those. Bone or hope, both have a long O. Or if you have the second list, close or cone. Those are your long O's. And then the oddballs, the ones that don't make any sense, don't follow the rule, would be come. That counts as an oddball because it does have an O and an E. It would usually say a long O like comb, but it sounds more like a U. So that's an oddball. And then also we have the word, let's see, close, hop, rock, both. Both is considered an oddball because it's a closed syllable here at the end with the TH and it still says a long O. So that would be that. All right, guys, hopefully you got 100%, 36 out of 36. If you didn't and you need to retake it, just let me know. I hope this video helped today. Let me know how you do. All right, bye.